What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. And today we're going to be taking a look at the 3 best offlaners in patch 7.35D. Hopefully you guys do enjoy. If you guys do, leave a comment down below and let me know which one is your favorite offlaner of this current patch, and also consider subscribing so you guys don't miss an upload. So the first offlaner we're going to be taking a look at with a 51% win rate is Centaur. Centaur is a very reliable offlaner, very tough to beat unless you're a life stealer. Then you can definitely eat him for breakfast. It's a very tough matchup for the Centaur, and life stealer is quite meta, but you can definitely get away from this matchup with pulling the side camps and making sure the lane is in a proper spot. You can definitely get away from this matchup. It's not absolutely terrible, but if the life stealer does have an XP advantage and a little bit of farm over you, he's definitely just going to beat into you, and there's not a whole lot you can do against the hero. So typically you want to be building Blink, you want to be building Vanguard, and you want to be building items like Shiva's or Blade Mail. These are your top items on the hero. They're super popular items to be building, and it's always nice to build Blade Mail on a hero like Centaur because you already have Retaliate. So passively from people hitting you, you are going to be doing a ton of damage. So it's always going to be good for you to be survivable. You can also build auras like Pipe. You can build a Crimson Guard off that Vanguard, and don't be afraid to actually play him a lot more aggressive, as Hoof Stomp is such a strong ability. Getting a 2 or 3 man Hoof Stomp is a really big deal. Your team can easily capitalize on that initiation, and you can put in a lot of work on this hero. It's definitely one of my favorite offlaners of the patch. Definitely very reliable, and it's still pretty good in the late game. You're going to be building into items like Heart, BKB and such, maybe an Assault Cuirass if you definitely need that armor. It's a hero that can definitely scale quite well into the late game, and you always have Stampede to get your carry or your mid or anybody of priority out of a really sticky situation. You could also use it to engage. You could also use it to disengage. It's always going to be a very nice tool. The next offlaner we're going to be taking a look at with a 55% win rate is Abaddon. Abaddon is absolutely fantastic right now in the meta. He is so strong, and honestly, you guys should be playing Abaddon either from support. You could be playing him as a carry, you could be playing him as an offlaner. It honestly depends on what your playing style is, but he's definitely being played quite heavily from the offlane. He is such a strong hero and provides so much utility for his team, because the fact that you have to commit so many spells and so many items and cooldowns for you guys to even be able to bring down this hero, because his borrowed time ability is just absolutely insane, plus a Photic Shield, and he actually hits pretty hard because Curse of Avernus does damage over time. It's going to be very strong for you to go up against very squishy lanes or heroes that don't like to be silenced. They could be having a lot of issues. At the same time, you're always going to be forcing rotations on the side lane against Abaddon because it's just so freaking hard to bring down. And if you have a pretty strong support pairing, you can actually dive the tower pretty much level 2 or level 3. Once you have 2 points and a Photic Shield, you can easily dive the tower and you're going to be getting a ton of kills in the lane. But if it's a really rough lane, you can easily get away from it just by having your Photic Shield. The only one thing this hero is definitely not good at is farming. He's a very slow farmer, so you need to make sure you guys are staying in your lane, either getting kills or at least surviving and not feeding, because going to the jungle isn't really a solid option for Abaddon. He's a very slow farmer. I definitely don't recommend you guys to get kicked out of lane, so please make sure you guys are picking Abaddon into good Abaddon games, and make sure they don't have like a carry Viper or super high burst damage where you're going to have a lot of issues, or against heroes like Venomancer. You definitely don't want to play against these heroes because they're going to be bursting your Photic Shield constantly, and the slows are just way too brutal for you to play into. In my personal opinion, just don't play those matchups. But the hero is extremely solid, and being universal, you're able to build items like Echo Saber, Manta, AC. You're able to get a Harpoon. Definitely play this hero as aggressive as you want. He's definitely very easy to play, and you can't really get punished as long as you have borrowed time and a Photic Shield and you have enough mana to cast it. You're going to be quite fine. They're going to have to commit a ton of resources just to get rid of you, so it's always going to be beneficial to have your team right behind you. That way, when they used all their cooldowns and all their spells to attempt to kill you, most times you're actually going to be living, and your team is going to be able to come in for the cleanup, and it's going to be a ton of value for you to have a hero like Abaddon as your offlaner. And now for me, the best offlaner in the patch goes to Axe with a 53% win rate. This is one of my favorite offlaners by far, so maybe I am a little biased, but let me know in the comment section below if you guys think Axe is the best offlaner. I do think Axe does require a pretty decent team to be behind you, because yes, the hero could go for solo pickoffs once he has Blink Blade Mail, and you're able to have a lot more game impact than most offlaners can, but at the end of the day, you need to have supports playing with you. Heroes like Grimstroke, heroes like Dark Willow are the best support pairings to be playing with him, or try and go for Invoker, going for Sunstrikes when you get an Axe call. That way you can secure your dunks and secure easy kills against pretty much anybody on the map, and Dark Willow with her level 6 pretty much guarantees you to get any solo pickoff in the game. It's always going to be very nice to be playing with these supports, but at the same time, this hero has a ton of impact. He scales infinitely with his armor and Culling Blade. It's going to feel absolutely fantastic to go into the late game with a hero like Axe against a physical lineup, because the more dunks you have, the more of an easier time time you're going to be doing. And if you go for Aghanim Scepter, the more armor stacks, the more damage you're going to be doing. The Aghanim Scepter is actually very slept on. It's a very strong item, especially when they have a really squishy lineup. Getting an Aghanim Scepter is going to feel quite fantastic. And once you are in the late game and you have a ton of armor and you have that Aghanim Scepter going in, maybe an Assault Cuirass, and maybe you have a Phantom Assassin as your carry, they are going to absolutely get melted. The minus armor is going to kill them, and you're going to be doing a ton of damage with Battle Hunger, which is a very underestimated spell. People just think Battle Hunger is just for the slow. It's not only for the slow, it actually does pretty good damage. So definitely keep that in mind. Axe is just a powerhouse of a hero, and I highly recommend you guys, if you don't play Axe, you should be picking him up as pretty much every single patch. Axe is still quite viable. Even when he gets nerfed and such, Axe always feels really good just because Call is such a strong disable, and you have your spins to go for, you have Blade Mail, you have Blink. That initiation is always going to feel really good, especially if you're a very patient Axe player and you know exactly who to go for, because target priority and patience are key on this hero. If you just see that low HP hero and you look for the dunk play and you don't think that they have their entire team behind them, you're going to have a lot of issues, because getting a support pick off and getting a dunk stack, sure, that's fine, but losing an offlaner is a really big deal for a support. So make sure you're waiting very patiently and you are jumping into vision. Make sure you know exactly where you're jumping and where the enemy team is at all times. That's definitely going to benefit you the most on this hero, and you're going to be able to get a ton of pickoffs while not getting punished as hard. Make sure as well, again, to be playing with your team. This hero can do so much work in the early game, but make sure you are getting your timings as well. A lot of mistakes Axe players make is that they don't go for their timings. They are going for a team fight when they have no blink, they have no blade mail. That makes absolutely no sense. Get your timings, stay in the jungle, farm at least either your blink or your blade mail. If you have enough catch, then don't go for the blink, get it after the blade mail. But if you don't have catch on your team and there's no way you guys can close the gap, then definitely get the blink first and make sure your team has damage to back you up. If not, wait for blink blade mail to be going into fights. Axe is quite a greedy offlaner. He's not the type of hero that wants to be fighting early on, other than laning phase. Then he can go for a couple pickoffs here and there, but you shouldn't be rotating into the side lanes consistently, because that's going to put you far behind. And you're a hero that can easily take stacks and get these at a really nice timing. You should be able to get your blink dagger and blade mail by about 15 minutes, 16 minutes, give or take. And that is pretty much the timing you are aiming for. You're aiming pretty much for a mid-game timing. That way you're able to do a lot more on the map and you're able to play a lot better. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about Axe. Do you think he's the best offlaner in Dota? I definitely think he is in this patch. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.